Hello and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be giving my first impressions on the Pulsar X2V2. I said I ordered it and now I have it, and honestly I have a lot of positive things to say about it, just offhand first things to say about it, but there are some negatives, and let's just get those out of the way first. The switch inconsistency is the biggest flaw I have with this mouse, and honestly, that's not really much of a surprise, which is kind of disappointing with a lot of mouse companies nowadays. A lot of them just have inconsistent clicks. I mean, even the Sora, for how much I praise the build quality, it did have inconsistent clicks as well. The right one just felt a little bit more mushy than the left. I mean, not that big of an inconsistency, but still more mushy, especially when you bottom it out. But they're nowhere near as inconsistent as the X2V2, sadly. The left one actually feels very, very good. For an optical, it's still a little bit more mushy than like a Razer optical. I know a lot of people will get mad at me because I say Razer opticals are actually pretty good, but they are, in my opinion. They are just very, very tactile, especially for an optical. They're not on the same level as a mechanical, obviously. I mean, we're not even there yet with all these new opticals coming out. We're not even close to like mechanical in terms of feel, but they're actually very, very tactile. But this is just like a little bit worse than a Razer optical. But the right one, oh, that right switch, it is way more inconsistent. Or not just more inconsistent, it just feels way different than the left. The best way I can say it, this one feels like a Gen 3 optical from Razer. Feels very, very good. Just a little bit more mushy. The right one, honestly, is very close to a Gen 2 optical. I'm going there. Yeah, the original Death Adder version 2 levels of mushiness. This is pretty mushy, and that's honestly the worst part about this mouse, sadly. It's just, this right one just feels decently inconsistent with the left, and especially just in terms of click feeling, this one just feels more mushy. And also, the only other problem I have that I can, like, see right now is that the top mouse button, for whatever reason, when I click it in, does like a little pop. I don't know if you heard that or not. It's kind of subtle, but it still like kind of does that. And you can more feel it than hear it, but it's still just kind of weird. I don't know why it does that. The bottom one doesn't do that, so I don't know what causes that to happen, but you know, it's just something that happens for some reason. Hopefully that'll go away when I use the mouse more, but yeah, in terms of like shape, I actually kind of like how it's a little bit smaller than like the Sora and a little bit less wide. Because I really want to force my hand to, like, clench up a little bit more to get more into that claw grip style. Because I've already just been relaxed clawing for a while, but this will really help me even clench down more than, like, other, like, bigger, kind of wider mice that I've had in the past. So I really don't mind the shape that much. And the scroll wheel is honestly one of the best parts. Probably one of the best scroll wheels I've ever tried, to be honest. Just based on the brief time I've used it. It is better than the Sora scroll wheel. I know a lot of people disagree with me on that, but like, this just feels a little bit more inconsistent. It's just like sometimes it just feels like it kind of, again, like hitches, kind of like the X1R in terms of scroll feel, but this actually is like tactile enough and is like very, very quiet and isn't actually inconsistent basically at all. So, yeah, I really like this scroll wheel. It's probably the best part of the mouse, and that left mouse button, which is good. Again, the left mouse button feels very, very good. I'm glad that the right mouse button is more mushy than the left, because if it was the other way around, yeah, that's basically an automatic return. It would just fucking sucks. So, now I'm just debating on whether to return it or not. I'm still sick. But, yeah, I don't know. I might keep this. I might not. I just got this basically as an experiment to see if this was actually going to be good enough to, like, completely void my purchase of the LA1, or to just reassure that purchase even more. So I don't know if that does that any justice, or if it, you know, completely undermines it. I don't know. I'll test this out more, obviously, and I already have it plugged in and stuff, so I'll see how that goes, and I don't think it'll have any sensor issues. I hope it won't have any sensor issues like the fucking Sora. I fucking hate that still has sensor issues. But yeah, I hope it doesn't have any sensor issues. But yeah, rather than that, no real complaints. Actually, the build quality, like the sidewalls, they're built very, very well. And I'm glad that I got an actual well-built copy instead of the fucking right mouse button, which I'm still a little bit miffed about. But yes, I said miffed. But yeah, that's basically it. I don't have a whole lot else to say. I basically just got the Death Adder out, just compare it with like the switches with the X2H, or not the X2H, the X2V2. But yeah, I still feel like the Death Adders are way better in terms of just click feeling, especially this right mouse button. I actually feel like it's better than the left. Not by a huge margin, but still better. This feels very, very good. The right one, the right mouse button for me feels amazing on the Death Adder version 3. On this, on the other hand, it's the opposite. It just feels very, very mushy and feels like like a Death Adder version 2 optical, and not in a good way. But yeah, that's basically it for first impressions. Again, testing it out more, just getting used to the mouse, getting used to like clenching up a little bit more in terms of like claw shape and stuff like that. So yeah, that's basically it. Oh, and also, if you want to see my like full hand and see how like, yeah, I don't have like huge hands or anything, but like I have decently long fingers, so that's probably why. But like, yeah, if I put like my full palm on this, it's not, it's like really past the mouse. So yeah, this is actually very, very good for my hand, except for the fact that I have to like lift my thumb up. Again, that's the only problem I had with the Death Adder and kind of the scroll wheel. But rather than that, no, I didn't have any other issues with the Death Adder. I mean, besides the slightest nitpick of like the sidewall flexing in a little bit, but I didn't even notice that in game, so I don't really care. The only problems I have with it is just the shape is a little bit too big for me. Like a little bit too big, and the scroll wheel is just not that good. But and it's just a little bit loose, too loose for me. But yeah, that's basically it, and I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.